Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. Welcome back to another segment of Talking About Success. I'm here with Dr. Donal Pet. Today is my guest. And you're a psychiatrist. You're the director of the educational community.
That's right, Jack. It's a nonprofit, a privately funded corporation, and we're serving a lot of people.
Now, we've had a couple off-camera conversations about success, and I've been a teacher of that, and I think you've helped me realize it doesn't matter how much money we all make. If we don't have a world to live in, we're not going to be in a very good shape. And, I teasingly called you the Al Gore of the peace world here, that you're
thank you. What a compliment.
bringing forward the uncomfortable truth, if you will, about the fact that we're at a precipice in our time in history. And I know you've created this organization called the Educational Community to kind of address that issue and wake us up a little bit and teach us some skills about how we might avoid going off that precipice. Talk about the educational community and what it does and what you're trying to accomplish with that.
Well, I'm always delighted to do that. We're interested in solving the biggest puzzle. The biggest puzzle we have is, why is it that we fill our world with fear, hate, scarcity, and war, when actually we want happiness, unconditional love, abundance, and peace? Mm-hmm. And we seem not to be very successful at that. Well, what we're interested in doing is trying to change that. We think there's an answer. Everybody in today's world wants the answer. The world is waking up to the problem with ISIS and so on, and we can spread the word that people can make a difference.
Okay, so what is the answer, according to you?
The answer is we have to teach ourselves to love ourselves abundantly. And we've created the most powerful secret, yet secret love creation skills. Our goal is to create 1 million love creation teachers. It's so simple. You learn the skills by going to our ever-free internet site. You like them, you pass them on to someone else, and when they call and say thank you, you simply say, you do what I just did for you. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, costs nothing, and it takes little time and energy, and it is one of the most fun things that we can do to give love to other people.
So give us a little clue. You started to say we have to love ourselves abundantly first.
Yes.
I assume out of that self-love then comes love for others.
The idea, the modern version of the golden rule, or what starts with reciprocity, is love yourself with the abundance that overflows to enrich the world. It's very hard to give away what we don't own.
Yes.
But if we start with the idea of liking ourselves, and then we love ourselves, and then we can love an abundance that overflows. We all know that you crawl before you walk, and then you run. Now we need to learn that we first need to like ourselves, then we can love ourselves with the abundance that overflows. Most people know about the walking and crawling part. Right. They don't know how important it is to like yourself. And our society says, if you like yourself, you're selfish, self-centered. Right. It tells us to do just the opposite of what we ought to be doing.
So can you give us a preview or a hint or a clue or a technique about just what are some of the things we can do to like ourselves more?
Well, one thing that we tell people not to do that we should do is to emotionally endorse ourselves. Everyone knows what they need to do. When they go to a ball game, they cheer and stomp into when they go to a musical event, they know how to talk to a dog to get that dog to shake its behind and wag its tail. They know how to talk to a baby. But when do people look at themselves in the mirror and say, I am such a hot sketch. I really like me. It just doesn't happen. We're taught, you might say, well, that was a good job, and then they go right on to the next worry situation. But we really need to really emotionally endorse ourselves. That's one of the most basic skills. Mm-hmm.
Now, one other thing I'd like you to share with our viewers, if you would. You talked about some thoughts. We need to change our way of thinking. And you shared some of the things like moving from either or to both and. Talk about a few of those things. I found
we've developed just 7 words that are on our website. And for example, we have this disease of our thinking called either or thinking. It's us or them, the right way, the wrong way. And that's the reason we have wars. But if instead we think of both ends, it's us and them, we can work in cooperation rather than competing for somebody's got to be dominant and somebody has to be submissive. Mm-hmm. The language we learn when we grow up, all of us get these 3 symbols. We get a religious symbol, we get a patriotic symbol, we get a political symbol, and all those are tribal symbols. They say our way is the right way. We have not yet developed a universal symbol, and the educational community has created that, and we put it on our website.
Okay, so we get out of either or. You talked about should and could. Can you talk about that?
When you say should, you're really saying you have to do what someone else told you. That's the should. When you say I could, the could word invites our mind to say, well, what are the alternatives? What are my choices? I could do this or that or the other. But as soon as you say should, you're saying there's one right answer, and that's what you should do. Another simple change would be, instead of they make me, the blaming statement, the famous blaming statement, he, she, they, or it makes me, you just say, I allow, we take responsibility for it. So that's one of your basic things, and it works so well. It's so important.
Yeah, I created the promoter, allowed it. It's my responsibility. They didn't make me do anything. You know, I often will bring a person up on stage and I'll say, they say, well, they made me. I say, nobody can make you do anything. They say, well, if I put a gun to your head, you know, well, I could put a gun to your head. And they say, now imagine you got a gun pointing at your daughter's head, you can't move it anyway. And I say, shoot your daughter, I'll kill you. And they all go, I wouldn't do it. Even with a gun to your head, I can't make you do anything. Yeah. It's very important for people to get that.
We spend the first 15 or 20 years of our lives not having the ability to resist. We are, as children, our brain is malleable. We know that we learn languages and so on because we absorb everything. When we get to be about 18 or 20, we've developed language. That's when we can begin to start becoming our own person. We can start, and of course that's why rebellion occurs in our teenage period.
Right.
And then we start resisting different things. But and most of the adult studies show it's not until our mid-20s or late 20s or early 30s that we can start taking responsibility for ourselves.
Well, I love what you're doing. I think it's really important that we all kind of wake up out of our doldrums. And it's, you know, we're asleep not just about war, we're asleep about everything, really. And these same principles you're talking about are just about waking up to the possibility of being fully human, which most of us haven't really stepped into. We're kind of still living in the mammalian brain of, like, you know, fight or flight. And you're saying there's another possibility to come forward from a much higher level of consciousness.
And I know when you got into your work, you were, one of your main things was teaching self-esteem in the schools.
It's true.
And this is one of the most important things. When you teach self-esteem, the kids, they're bully-proof. They're no longer susceptible to what other people say.
Right.
They become their own best friend. When you teach people to like themselves, they have the best possible antidepressant, better than medications and other things. There's so much. And so,
self-esteem, the free antidepressant.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, people who don't kill themselves, who really say, I really like myself, but I'm going to shoot myself. No.
Right, exactly.
They usually say, oh, well, you know what, the horrible things they say to themselves.
Right.
But if we can, as you start, and what you did in the school system earlier, when you start pushing that, that's the way we bulletproof the kids. Somehow we think the idea that if we put more guards in the school or where we make them more secure, that's going to change things. I think the real issue is we have to teach people to love themselves.
Yeah, well, again, we're dealing with the symptom, not the root cause of all these issues. So good for you.
Actually.
So if people want to find out more about the education community, they want to go and download all these free resources, which I really strongly encourage you all to do. There's you know, so many people say there's all these problems, but you've got the solutions. And so it's all available for you.
We've laid out the whole curriculum. Everything is guaranteed forever free. You start with EinsteinSolution.org, www.EinsteinSolution, there are two S's in the middle of EinsteinSolution.org, and you learn the two most powerful yet secret love creation skills. I've had them recorded by a professional speaker and actor, and people love them. And then you can go on to some of the other skills, and they're all very simple.
Einstein's solution. Two S's in the middle, like
exactly.
Possessive Einstein's. Okay. Wow. Look, we are in a critical time in our history, and I think that this man and his work and the community you're developing around the world, and there's so much. I wish we had more time to talk about them, but there are many solutions. We don't have to live in fear. We can live in love, and his work will tell you how to do that. So EinsteinSolution.org. Thank you for joining me today.
It's really a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure to see you. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go away.